Your afternoon task is going to be fairly straightforward in terms of creating the graphics, but I'm going to introduce two new concepts. The first one is called collision, and that occurs when one object touches or bumps into another object. We can have some consequence occur. And the second part of that collision is introducing variables. So when I bump into something or I touch something, I either get points or I get money or I lose health points, whatever it is you want to work into your game. So the example I have here is based on Pacman. So I have four different sprites. My first sprite is my Pacman, and I have my Pacman moving. So as it moves, he chomps. And you're going to notice that as he chomps on the gold coins, the variable coins increases. It was 0 when the game started. It's now at 2, and now it's at 3. So two things happened there. My Pacman hit the coin, and that changed the value of the variable by 1, and it also made the coin disappear. So I couldn't go over the coin multiple times to get extra points. So I'm going to show you how I did this, and I would like you to reproduce it. Once we have finished this activity, that means we have covered the four basic skills needed to play or create a game, and that is motion, that is also costume changes, that is collisions, and that is variables. So once you know all four of those things or how to do them, you then are free to try and create your own interesting game challenge. And I'll introduce that to you tomorrow morning. So let's see what we did for Pacman here. I'm going to restart it one more time. And there's my Pacman moving, and he's eating the coins. I have 1 coin. I have now 2 coins, and I now have 3 coins. All right, so we're going to start with our Pacman. We're going to look at the costume first. So that's pretty straightforward. I just have a big yellow dot in the middle of my screen. I duplicated it. And then with the second costume, what I did to erase this part right here, so it looks like the Pacman's mouth is open, I went to my eraser and I simply set it to the size I wanted, and I erased part of the costume. I'll just erase a little bit more here to show you how that works. Okay, so then when I play the Pacman and move him, he switches from one costume to the other, back and forth. Okay, pretty straightforward for costume. Coin, I just simply created a circle, and instead of recreating that circle and the code that's with it, I held down my control key after my first circle was created and programmed. That'll save me a lot of work later on. I held down my control key and I duplicated it twice to make different copies. So we're going to quickly look at the code here. This is my Pacman moving to the right. So when the green flag is clicked forever, if I am touching the right arrow, I want to point my Pacman in that direction. And notice here I can click and turn this dial to indicate what direction I want to point. I'm going to move him 10 steps. I'm going to switch to my next costume. So as he moves to the right, he moves and switches costumes. I did the same thing for traveling left arrow minus 90-degree direction, which is to the left. I move 10 steps and I switch to the next costume. And I also have a little bit of code in here that's going to automatically put the Pacman in the same spot every time we start the game. So it puts him back over here and it resets his position. Now with the gold coins, when the game starts, I want the coin to show, and I want to set the value of this variable to 0. And then other than that, I have a collision set up. So if my coin is ever touching Pacman, I change my coins by 1, indicating I've eaten another coin, and I hide that specific coin. And that same code is in each one of these. Now, the last thing we need to look at is how to create a variable. So when I go to variables, I can click Make a Variable, and I've already made one called coins. And that means I have the opportunity to set the value of coins and change the value of coins. So here, when the game starts, I set the value of coins to 0. And here I change the value of coins by 1. Now, when you create multiple variables, you have the option of pulling down from here and seeing all the variables that you have created. So go ahead and try and recreate that Pacman. Again, motion, collisions, costumes, and variables. Good luck.